Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One cannot enter in a higher plane unless he has an access there, visa there. He has some special permit to enter there. So, once entering Vrindavan plane, it is not like all done in one. There's gradations of rasa. All rasa is not the same. All are glorified. They're all superior to the Vaikuntha ras. But this type of superiority is not like mundane superiority. You are down. Actually, if you get to Vaikuntha, you'll never want to leave. It is such a wonderful place. Even once Bhaktisiddhanta has described Brahmajyoti, Brahman. Now, Brahman. But what is Brahman? Brahman is the glow of Krishna, the glow of God. If you get to that, you may never want to go anywhere else. That is so fabulous, so unbelievably wonderful and accommodating. It is not that it's some prickly thing like rubbing a cactus or having some police flashlight in your face or a tube light flashing on you. It is not like that. It is this wonderful, blissful, transcendental light coming from the body of the Supreme Person. It is so encompassing that jivas get lost in there for a long, long time. Only Krishna's grace makes them come out, actually, because there is something better than just that accommodation of the light of God. But he describes it in one or two places in his writings where it's like, if you just read that, you say, oh, stop this Mayavad reading. It's glorification of Brahman. We don't tolerate. And who wrote it? Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. So we don't forget that it is transcendental, and it is the plane of absolute truth, and it does come from the body of Krishna. So it is not some mundane, hateable thing. The forgetfulness of Krishna, that we don't want to accept that. Therefore, devotees don't even accept that. If suddenly Krishna said, I offer you Brahman, the warmth of my bodily glow, and you'll be lost there in my glowing embrace, no thank you. Devotees have this intelligence. No thank you. They'll decline the opportunity. It's no service to Krishna. It's all self-gaining. You will gain something, right? And ultimately that's not self-fulfilling, because as servants of Krishna, without service, all living entities ultimately suffer. So in the Brahmajyoti, ultimately, the ultimate peace is not there, because there's no service there. They fall down out of the Brahmajyoti and they enter the material world, not Vaikuntha. They enter the material world. They can't go to Vaikuntha because there's no qualification of service. So the only place to come is here, where they can begin to qualify for service. You follow? So all the planes of transcendence are very accommodating to the living entities. So there are gradations in each one. In Goloka Vrindavan, there are gradations of service, and groups of servitors are there. And even competitive groups of servitors are there. Quite elaborate, quite extensive, quite on the infinite level. Competition, competitive servitors, all arranged in the Leela of Krishna by Yoga Maya through the various expansions of Krishna's energies. And everyone there is not knowing, oh, actually this competitive sector actually is no real competition at all. We don't really have to worry. Our camp is beyond breach, beyond competitive challenges. Well, where's the fun? Huh? It's like an actor. What happens to really good actors? They get lost sometimes in the personalities they portray. In other words, if you're not really into it, we can see you're just acting, and it's not a good drama. When you can give the facial expressions and everything completely suiting the role you play, that means you've really you've left your family problems behind, how much you're getting paid, you're so into it, you just adopt the role. But still, you're simply acting. Well, the Leela of Krishna is way more intense than that. They adopt the role and completely forget anything else. It doesn't exist. They're in the competitive camps. They are competing for the service of Krishna. And those who are actually in the higher position, they're not thinking, anyway, I'm in the higher position, their competition doesn't matter. No, they meet that competition head on. Now, they don't have wars with talwars and throwing rocks at each other and all this, but they have their deceitful practices, their deceptions, their trickery, all these things are there in competitive service. Ultimately, everyone trying to serve Krishna better. We can't even actually comprehend it, how it is, but it's for real. It's a drama that is for real. Just like this is a drama. There's nothing real here. If I stick with the pin, why do you shout? There's nothing is real. Oh, sorry, don't do that again. I'll hit you with a stick. Yet we are told, and by all intelligent understanding, we understand actually this world is not real. The pleasure, the pain, it is all due to the conditioning of Mahamaya. Well, their conditioning is Yogamaya. It is even more real than what we find here. With an act of intelligence, you can understand that you're not the body. That act of intelligence is rarely manifest in the spiritual world. First off, there, you are the body. It's a peculiar situation. We spend our life, grabbing this idea, I'm not this body, and if we're ultimately successful, then we become the body in the spiritual world. There are no embodied souls. So, here there can be an active intelligence where you can realize, no, I'm not this body. You can separate my intelligence is here in the background. My mind is so much up here in the front. My senses are not independent. And you can, you can be introspective and you can find the soul directly through that, like, Sankhya process. You can come down to recognize the soul. What part of me is the soul? And then if you're more advanced in meditation, you can recognize the super soul within. All that can be done by acts of intelligence and a particular process. And even devotion can be recognized by our intelligence. So we can, in that way, we come to a stage of understanding what this world is not. You see? But nobody has that intelligence that in the Leela of Krishna, they understand that Krishna is not in some danger. Only Balaram has this, actually. Lord Balaram, he knows that Krishna is actually never in danger. But there isn't any situation where Krishna is entering the Aghasura demon's mouth, and right in the middle of it, then Nanda Maharaj or Mother Yasoda goes, well, actually, Krishna is God, and he's not in any danger. They're not given that intelligence there. They are fainting, beating their heads, screaming, ready to die themselves. It is said that if Krishna is even perspiring, Mother Yasoda is ready to embrace death. But she can't die. But she doesn't think, well, I'm ready to embrace death. But actually, I can't die. But I'm ready to embrace death. That's an actor. And that you can come to on this level. I'm acting as this body, but I know I'm not this body. There it is real beyond real. There is no escape there. They're totally locked in there, 100%. And even sometimes Balaram, he doesn't catch the drift of the Leela. Very, very rarely. But there are some examples. Only Lord Balaram. Because Yogamaya is basically his energy. So then, if it's his energy, then he's naturally aloof from that energy and can perceive, but no one else can. Everybody is completely into that there. At the same time, ultimately, because it is Vaikuntha, because it is above Vaikuntha, it comes to harmony. There is harmony. Not that there is competition at every step. Ultimately, the competition comes to harmony, and the competition surrenders. And there are the ultimate victorious camps in Krishna's service. So, in relation to this world, Gaudiya Vaishnavism, amongst Vaishnavism, is the ultimate victorious camp of the servitors of Mahaprabhu, of the Supreme Lord, which means of Mahaprabhu, his camp. It is ultimately victorious. It is said that in this age of Kali Yuga, all other sampradayas, they will, in due course, now, later, in between, they will diminish. And eventually, there will be recognized only one sampradaya. And within that sampradaya, one thing will be recognized as the religious principle. And that is? Chanting the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare